Hello, everybody. What's going on? It's us. How are we doing today? Today we got a great day. It's a great day. Let me work on this here. I got my Yankees hat on. My Irish Yankee hat. I got my Irish Yankee hat. For sure. We're already too zoomed in. My big dome head is in here. So, how is everybody doing? We're getting things set up here. What's going on, everybody? We got a bunch of people jumping on. As you know, when you get started in here, chat, tell me what's going on. Who is there? I see some people showing up already on time. Good. We'll give them a few minutes to get rocking and rolling. What is going on? Who's out there? Talk to me. Somebody say something. Tell me you love me. Hi, Cheyenne. Look, first time. How are you doing? What's going on? So you see the chat. You can chat with me inside there. We can talk back and forth. And you can ask questions as we're going through. Give a few more people some time to get on. Hi. This is the lab. Back at the lab with the mic to grab. All right. I'm excited. We got some good stuff. So we do this every week. There's going to be the replay on the bottom. You got a link once you signed in. There's a link and there's a replay for you to re-see this. And so you can just go back over and go over and over and over. So that's what we got. I got some stuff already written on the board. And in a few minutes, we will go over that. And but I'll tell you a little bit about what we are going to go over. Today we're going to talk about deal structure. For the last few weeks, we've been going over deals, like live deals, and like how do we structure them? How do we put them together? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Today we're going to also talk about like structuring. How do you structure deals for cash flow? And the reason why I say that is a lot of people, they want cash flow because cash flow is so beautifully sexy. And a lot of times I get this all the time. People are like, oh, I want cash flow, and they want rentals, but because it all sounds fantastic. And there's something about, there's a few pieces inside there, like being a landlord and managing properties and all this stuff. But one of the biggest things that stops people from being a landlord and owning a lot of properties is that big pesky down payment, number one, that the banks typically want. And, you can slide into one or two properties for, your first one. And a lot of people, like, they live in it and they don't live in it and whatever. But you could walk in for like 3% down and then maybe another one at 10% down. But then after you get past the 3 to 5, a lot of times it gets a little tricky because the banks are going to want 10, 20, 30% down payment, depending on your credit and the situation with the property. That right there, my friends, slams the brake. On how to get that. Obviously, there's ways on how to get that. You can get partners and all of that. But you see a majority of the people to pump those brakes really hard with that. So, but I'm going to show you some strategy on how to generate cash flow from single-family houses, unlike most people generate them. So we're going to talk about that in the next few minutes during this call. The other thing I was thinking was that we're going to talk about mindset. The reason why we're going to talk about mindset is because recently I was having some conversation with some of my colleagues in my mastermind, and we were talking. I was talking about like how to help my clients and get more out of the program and help them to get better, faster results. It's always a conversation that I'm having, right? So with that being said, I came to the point of talking about the scripts. And, we'll do this, or marketing plan. So those were the two hot topics. I was like, I can help them in those two pieces and whatnot. And I was in my head, I'm like, they're going to love this. And I got this great idea on how to help with the marketing. And then I just stopped for a second. I actually came to the script part, and I just stopped for a second. I was like, is it that they don't know how to use a script? And then I just stopped for a second. I was like, my clients are smart. They are smart. They're not some bumbling fools running around. These people are smart. They got great jobs, and they understand things. I'm like, I've spoken to most of them one-on-one more than one occasion. And I was like, so a better script is not the problem. The script works. What I thought about is it wasn't the script, it was them. The script is 12 questions. I was like, wait a second, so it's 12 questions. And I was like, all right, so if it's 12 questions, why do they struggle with the script? Now, one thing you can say, I can teach them better tonality, I can teach them better inflection, I can teach them better rebuttals, but I'm like, we're not even there. It's like, just ask the 12 questions. What's the challenge with it? And then it hit me. It hit me like a song I wrote. Is that it wasn't about the questions. It could be any 12 questions inside the issue. It could be any 5 questions. And what I realized from there is that what it really was is just their own mindset. And I mean the most biggest bad dog. I'm not afraid of anything. I don't need no personal development. I don't need none of this. Just show me how to do it. That guy, that girl, well, she may not be that guy, but you get what I'm saying. That person sometimes may just be afraid to do that phone call because they're afraid of not the script, but the story that's beyond that, which is the mindset part. And it's mostly that they are afraid of looking bad, sounding bad, other people thinking a certain way about them. And those things are what really hold them back to going full blast and just asking in the 12 questions on the script. A little bit of it, that's the biggest majority of it. A little bit is that they want to try to figure out things on their own and pretty much mess it up because the script is not broken. It's usually the new person that is starting with it wants to, I don't know how to drive a race car, but here, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put an extra twin turbo in the engine and I'm going to change the transmission. And you don't even know how to drive a car, the race car. It's like, just leave it. It's not broken. It's a fantastic race car. It wins. It won last year, the Daytona 500. Just drive it. So those are the things we're going to talk about today. Gave a few some time for people to jump on. Hey, if you are on the call, you can chat with us in the chat box. Just say what's up. Let us know what's going on, what's on your mind. So today we're going to talk about number 1, deal structure. Number 2, about cash flow, creating cash flow in your business. We're going to talk about mindsets. We'll talk maybe a little bit about scripts. I got some stuff behind me, and it may or may not be so clear, but that's okay. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to throw it inside your teamwork. And hopefully I can get a little closer with it to outline, but I'm going to read it out to you. So I want to start with this and talk about just the first part is going to be the deal structure. How does this whole thing go? I'm going to beat this into people's head over and over and over because right now, most people, most investors, they have one model on how they buy and sell houses. Number 1, it's either I buy it cheap, cash, and then my 2 strategies that I'm going to use is either to wholesale it or rehab it. That's one. The other one is I'll buy a rental. I'm going to say probably about 80% of the people don't have money to buy 20 rentals, and they don't know the game of how to rotate that down payment money and constantly turn it. And a lot of times, creative investing and wholesaling. That's what you're going to learn. The reason why I feel that this one is fantastic is because in those, with that concept, you're able to work with the most amount of properties as possible. And cash is going to be very easy. It's just a simple formula. We'll go over that in a second. And then the creative side is where there's multiples of formulas on how you could actually do that. So let's get into it. And if you have any questions, again, just hit me up in the chat right there. I'm gonna get rocking and rolling here. So let me start with this side here. Hopefully you can see. I feel like this is it's a little high up. Is my camera? Oh, wait a second. I got one little piece. Oh, por favor. Por favore. So, 1 second. There you got that. And where is this other little piece? There you are there. Quick capture. go. And we are live on 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? We're getting started. I forgot to press the record button, but we got the record button. I got my notes, and I got some stuff here. So we're going to go over deal structure, cash flow, mindset, and scripts. Starting off right now with the flow process. Let's do this. So, you might not be able to see from too far away, but I'm going to go over it. This is M1, M2, M3. M1, M2, M3. For this purpose right now, M1 is 2, M1, 2, and 3 is just marketing strategy 1, 2, and 3, right? So an example of what that might look like, it might look like marketing strategy number 1. Always the biggest and the best is direct mail. Direct mail is not dead. It is still alive and probably the number 1. Number 2 might be like networking, and number 3 could be, let's say, knocking on doors or something like that. We're going to talk more about networking. I'm going to go back over networking again, actually. But let's just say I want you to understand the concept. So whatever marketing strategy you use is going to make the phone ring. You're going to fill out the script. That's the pre-screen. So you're going to fill out the pre-screen script. There's probably about 12 questions inside there. And when you fill out that pre-screen script, you're going to be looking for the best quality deal that looks like there's some kind of money in the deal. Now, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. The pre-screen, from when you pre-screen and you see something that has the potential and has profits in it, I'm going to want you to immediately go and set an appointment fast. If you could, set it today. The faster, the better. So you want to set that appointment fast. Typically, the 2 types of offers that we are going to be making on those properties are going to be either a cash offer or we're going to take over the payments. What's going to make a difference from one offer to the other? What's going to make the difference from one offer from a cash offer is if that person is willing to come and sell that property at 50 to 60 cents on the dollar, we could go cash. If we know that they owe more than 70 cents on the dollar, you cannot go cash. The only other option from there is that person that is selling it is going to go into their bank account and write a check to sell you the house. That is less likely ever going to happen. So if they owe more than, let's say, 65% on the property, you are not going to buy it cash. The only other option you have is to take over the payments and get creative. So if, let's say I put here, we're flowing through, this says cash offer, and then this just says the formula. The formula is ARV times 65% minus the repairs is the maximum, is MACO, the maximum allowed cash offer. The maximum allowed cash offer. So ARV times 65% minus the repairs is gonna put you, anywhere between, depending on the size of the repairs, but let's just say you're gonna be at least 50, 60 cents on the dollar to pay cash. If they want more than that, then you go to option 2, which is to take over payments. I put on the takeover payments just a quick rough and dirty. Here is what the number 1 strategy we do on takeover payments is to give some money now and then some money later. So we're going to take over whatever their debt is, and then we give them some money now and some money later. Good example. Let's say this property is worth $250,000. They owe $180,000. It needs, let's say, it needs like $20,000 in work, but they want $200,000. $180,000 they owe. They want worth $250,000, right? So what we're saying is there's $20,000 of what they want. So if they want, we'll take over the payments of the $180,000. They really care about what's going in their pocket. We're going to talk a lot more about like how to get them focused on how much they are getting. Remember, at the end of the day, everyone's selling the house. What they really either they want debt relief and they want their cash, meaning pay off my mortgage, give me some cash. So if I can't pay off your mortgage, and no investor's going to pay off your mortgage, the only other option that you might have available, might have available, is either sell it with a realtor, and they could do that sometimes. Or with me is if they want that cash bad enough now, and they feel comfortable with my solve, then they'll focus on just their $20,000 because that's all they were going to get anyways. So on that $20,000, we're going to break that down into some money now and some money later. Some money now, some money later. Some money now, some money later. How much is the some money now? As little as humanly possible. And typically I'm thinking like moving money and just money just to solve whatever the issue is. Hey, I got to move out of the property, or I got my next 2 payments that I got to make because I'm behind on payments. So it's some money now, some money later, and the least amount of money now. Why? Is because the more money you gotta give them now is the more money that either has to come out of your pocket or somebody else's pocket on the upfront. So we want you to come in as light as possible. So this is what it looks like. Marketing strategies makes the phone ring. You pre-screen the ones that sound the best, that sounds like there's profits in it. You set the appointment fast. When you're setting that appointment and you're pre-screening, you're going to do the numbers and figure out what is it worth, what are they asking, what are those main questions, what kind of repairs might it need, and you'll start seeing quickly. It's not going to be like far off. Some of the people don't know what the house may be worth, so set the appointment, and then go do the comps. Find out what the comps are. You can jump on Zillow, see what kind of comps are going on. There's different ways to find comps, but Zillow's kind of the rough and easy in it. And inside here, we're not being an appraiser. We're just trying to see, do we see money? One of the things in the beginning part, I just want you to get the concepts. I think people like bounce and they miss the concept. Like, I got to be a genius of like marketing and sales and all this stuff. I'm like, you don't need to be a genius. Relax. Do you see money? And if you can't answer, do you see money? Then we got to go back to the 101s. If you see money, I'm going to lighten this up a little bit. Let there be light. Hold on. I'm putting light on my face. I don't know. Seems a little dark in here. I got this high-tech light. Not quite. So, do you see money? So, then we come through this process here. And we want to go at the least amount as possible. Like on this deal right here, if I gave them $4,000, they said, all right, it's $20,000. I can give you $4,000 now. And I'll give you $16,000 later. And later, how long does later mean? They always ask. So later, I like to get between 3 and 5 years. Sometimes will I do it shorter? Yes, I will do it shorter. But for this sake, I'm going to say it's 3 to 5 years. And on that 16,000, we could get creative. And we're going to talk about this strategy right here on how to get more cash flow. But I want you to kind of see the process and understand it. It's not a complicated process. And you can look here. So on a weekly base, so I'm going to get a little bit more, I'm going to jump a little bit more inside here and say, all right, how many, like you're going to have marketing going. This is where I see a lot of people fail, right? Where they fail is that they don't have enough marketing and they're not pre-screening enough. And there's numbers behind these. So if let's say you want to do, starting off, hey, I just want to do 1 deal a month. Like, what would that look like as far as the numbers? So you're going to have to come and have how many pre-screens? So set appointments. You're going to need to probably set like at least, I would say a goal would be set 10 appointments so that you would be able to do 1 deal. You probably do more than 1 deal, but if you set 10 appointments, you'll be able to do at least 1 deal. On the pre-screen, maybe you got to pre-screen 30 people so that you can set 10 appointments. Which means you got to get 30 phone calls in. I think a lot of times people, they mess up on the matrix of the math, and they're saying, okay, how does this look? If you got 4 people calling you, you pre-screen 4, maybe you got 1 that might look decent, maybe you go to 1 house and you're trying to squeeze the life out of that 1 deal to turn it into profits, when it might not have even been a deal. So behind that, it says my side is freezing up. I don't know. No, I'm going to put the replay on this. Don't worry about it. And so if you're having any challenges, the replay is going to be in the replay area as soon as we're done, so you can watch it. So here's some of the matrix on what the challenge is. So you're going to need enough of the volume coming in. And right now what I'm just showing you is I'm just showing you the infrastructure and the structure that's going on over here. And reason why is because here's where you're going to be able to look and say, where might my problem be? And if you're starting off brand new, then you're just starting off brand new and you're understanding the process inside here. But if you're saying, I'm only talking last week, you just stop and you say, how many people did I speak? How many people called in? And how many people did I pre-screen last week? I even like it for my team. When I'm talking to my own team, I'm saying, how many scripts did you fill out last week? And they say, well, we filled out 30 and we set 10 appointments. Okay, you're on track. Let's say they say I filled out 15 and we only set 3 appointments. Well, what happened inside there? And I want to know what's going on, because I know that if I hit the number of each one of those pieces inside there, we'll be able to know that we're going to do a deal. So that's very important. I'm going to take a snapshot of this right now so that we have it we can put it in your portal. And if you got any questions on it, I'd be more than happy to answer those questions. Right after this, we're going to jump into cash flow. All right. So hopefully you got that part. I'm gonna erase this and I'm gonna dive deeper inside, talking about, all right, so let's say all this happened, right? We're saying, hey, you got your marketing, you pre-screen them, you set an appointment fast, it wasn't a cash deal, it was a takeover, payments, you spoke to the seller, they owe $200,000, they owe $180,000, they want $20,000 to leave, great, that's where we are. Now we're gonna turn that into cash flow. All right, let's do this. Let's do this, people. It is a nice sunny day. Today's a great day to go and make money with real estate investing. Oh, by the way, tonight we are going to be at a networking event at Blue. You should come down and hang out with us. Tonight at Blue Ale House in Woodbridge from 6 to 10. We're gonna have a little booth there. And we're going to be networking at the Blue Ale House, second floor. It's actually one of our partners, Glenn Gallucci's group. And you should come hang out with us. It's going to be great. And a lot of networking. There'll probably be, 100 people there. So good time to go network. Come hang out with us. Yes. All right. Cash flow. And a little pep me up. So I got my Irish New York Yankees. My wife is Irish. We went to a game and I had to represent and get the Irish. But you know, a Puerto Rican with an Irish. When I met her, I thought she was Puerto Rican, Hispanic or something. She looked Hispanic. But then I fell in love with her. I was like, I like you. I'm going to keep you. I'm going to keep you. Back. All right, cool. So let's go into this deal, right? So we're saying that the seller, let me tell you what's the situation with the property. We'll go over some of that. So let's say the ARV, we did our comps, is $250,000, right? They owe $180,000. They're asking $200,000. What else? The repairs. Let's just say it's old and dated. It's not broken. It's just old and dated. So let's say it's 20 grand. $20,000 in repairs. The payment. Remember how when we do payments, when we look at payments, we call it PITI. Principal, interest, tax, and insurance is what we call the full payment. PITI. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. If the taxes and insurance are not included, I always try to either if it's not included, I always try to include it so that I have one full number and I know what that's going to be. Sometimes if it's not there, then I just balance it out. But let's say this property had a PITI payment, PITI of $250. I'm going to say this one is $1,600. Rents in the area. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. 3, 2. And let's say this one goes for like $1,900. Now I'm giving you these numbers because I know these numbers. This is the average deal where we are. And I know this because I bought a whole lot of these. The average 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom for a mortgage of $180,000 that they maybe originated at $200 is going to be about $1,600 worth of taxes and insurance. The rents in this in that area is going to be about $1,900 to $2,200, just depending on where it's at. So I know all that. So let's just say I pre-screened them. I got all this information. They're asking $20,000 to repair. So I'm going to come here and I say the equity. So I look at this deal and I say, okay, from here to here, there's about $300 in cash flow. The seller wants $20K, right? So that's what they want. The difference between what they're asking and what they owe is $20K. So they want $20,000. There's $300 a month in cash flow. So and then the repairs are $20,000, which would bring me to $200 is what they're asking, plus 20 is $220. $220,000 is worth $250. So there's about $30,000 of equity. So I say here, our equity is $30,000. I'm gonna put it over here so you see it. We can see it quick. 250,000 minus. I'll do it this way. Minus 180 minus 20, and this is ARV, the mortgage, that's what they owe. The seller wants 20 grand, and then minus $20,000 in repairs. So if I do all of that, 250 minus this is $220,000, right? Which leaves $30,000 of equity. Bam. 30 grand of equity. I want to identify what my equity is in every deal, right? So then cash flow. Here is 300. So when I look at this, remember in the beginning I say, do I see money? If I looked at this, I probably would be like, starting off, I'm like, yeah, you know what, I see money. Let's set that appointment. My team is instructed, they do exactly this, and then they'll say, okay, let's set that appointment. So they go, they set the appointment up, and either myself or somebody else will go out to the property. But we already know that this deal is not a cash deal. Let me show you why instantly it's not a cash deal. They owe 180. So if I didn't even have a calculator, 150 divided by 50% of 250 is 125. They owe way more than 60%. They probably owe about 75%. Alexa, how much is 180 divided by 250?
180 divided by 250 equals 0.72.
So they owe 72%. That's what they owe. And then you add the other part, you're going to be at, they're asking 80 cents on the dollar for that property. Does it qualify for a cash deal? Please type in no. In that chat box, I want you to type in no, this does not qualify for a cash deal. So if you were only doing a cash strategy, you would have to say, I'm unfortunately sorry, I'm not able to buy the property at that price. That's one strategy. You owe too much. Or number two, I could buy the house, but I'm going to need you to write a $25,000 check. You want $20,000? I can't buy it that way. On the flip side, I will buy it if you give me another 20. If you write a check for $25,000, then I'll buy it. So it does not qualify for cash. All right. So we still remember that the outcome we're seeking to achieve here is first, do we see money? What's the process of it? And the rough and dirty is, yeah, we see $30,000, we see $300 a month in cash flow. Most of you guys are going to go run out there and structure that deal. Makes sense. Go do it. Set the appointment. Get out there today. You don't need to know too much more. And your offer is pretty much going to be, I could buy the house. Great news, I could buy the house, but how I have to buy the house is I can take over the payments. I can give you some money now, some money later. What's the least amount of money that I can give you now? They'll say whatever it is, and you see if we could do that. But what I was saying, right, for the topic here is creative deal structure for cash flow. Cash flow. So I'm gonna jump into that, right? So so we're looking at this and we're saying, all right, let's say the seller says, okay, I'm down to do this. I need how much money do they want? Let's say they said, all right, great, give me $5,000 down, give me $15,000 in 2 years. Or 3. Here's something that's important. It took me some time to get over this in my own head. Is a lot of times we think that the seller will only do what we think we would do. In the beginning, I was like, why would someone let me take over the payments? That's just crazy. It doesn't even make sense. And I'm just thinking that in my own head, and I'm like, and what I realize is I am not them. They are not me. And I have been a motivated seller. I have been a motivated seller because I have needed the money. I have been a motivated seller because I just needed to sell the property. I have been a motivated seller because I was going on vacation and I don't want to deal with this headache anymore. And I just want to go on vacation and have fun. Remember, I bought and sold hundreds and hundreds of houses. So I have been motivated. But a lot of times people will think, why would someone do that? I would never do that. We would all sell this property like a fiend for the right level of motivation. So, and some people are like, oh, hell no, I wouldn't do it. Promise you, if you had $100,000 in equity and you needed $10,000 to go get $1 million in equity someplace, you would sell that thing like a crackhead. Fast. Trust me, that was me. I was like, oh, I'm going to get rid of this house, but there's so much equity, I'll sell it at 10 cents, 90 cents on the dollar. I mean, on 10 cents on the dollar profits on it, just so I could get into the other deal. I'm telling you, I did it. I was selling it to my own friends. He was like, oh, there's something going on. I was like, bro, just buy the house, please, for the love of God. He's like, but this deal is too good. What's going on? Are you okay? Is everything okay? I was like, everything's okay. Please just buy the house. I'm giving you a deal on a silver platter. For the love of God, just buy the house. He's like, okay, I'll buy it. Like, all right, and I was like, well, then he's like, what's going on? And I was like, after he said that, I was like, I got another deal. I'm gonna make like ridiculous money, 10 times the amount on this house. He's like, you should have just said that. He's like, can I get on that one? I was like, no, just you're buying this one. So motivation, right? All right. So when we look at this one, we say, okay, cash flow. Jason, get to the dang on cash flow. One of the things, let me tell you a little bit about what's the mindset behind how we structure for the cash flow, right? I'll miss it on this side. So one of the things I started realizing is that I could increase my cash flow tremendously in this creative deal when I'm selling it, based on how long I have for the property. That's why a lot of times I go from 3 to 5 years, especially if I know upfront that I'm structuring it this way. There are certain deals that I'm willing to give up the equity. So sometimes we buy and sell the house for the equity because we need a big chunk of cash. There's no right or wrong. Like, there's been many times I'm like, hey, I gotta go cash heavy. In fact, early last year, I sold a lot of my properties and I went cash heavy. I'm gonna say for the beginning of this year, we had a few, I wanted cash flow, and then we were like, no, we went cash heavy. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna come in, let's just buy properties, sell them quick, and be in and out. And I'm not looking at the cash flow. And I'm just looking at, let's make chunks of cash. So, but then there's other deals that, and what's the difference between them? It depends. I got projects going on. I got rehabs going on. I'm going on vacation. I'm doing certain things. Like, I may or may not want to come and deal with a rehab or tenants, whatever it may be. So what I started to realize is that if I structured the deal in the beginning for cash flow, I could do a way better deal. Like, let me give you an example with this deal. So let's talk about the exit strategy. So this is the buy strategy. Take over the payments, give you some money now, some money later. They said, great, give me $5,000 down, and you owe me $15,000. Let's say ideally I push it for the 5 years. They said yes on 5 years. Perfect, right? So we walked in very light. So my payment is going to be $1,600. So let's talk about, I'm going to put here exit strategy. So this is the exit. So the exit, I'm looking for cash flow, right? So we're looking for cash flow. When I structure the deal, I look at a few different ways. One of them, I may say, hey, if I sell it on the lease option with the lower down payment, I could go long, maybe longer term with someone with a higher monthly payment. So what do I mean by that? Let's say the property will rent for $1,900. Well, let me give you some examples. So let's say on a lease option versus owner finance. OF is owner finance. The down payment people normally give on a lease option versus owner finance. Lease option is anywhere between 5% to 10% is on average. 5 to 10% down payment. On owner finance, I'm starting at 10 to 30%. Oh, and just a quick tip and a quick in on where the number one place people have their money. They could borrow, the number one place that they can borrow against this easy is their 401k or a retirement vehicle. They can the government allows you to borrow from your 401k non-penalized to purchase a property. As long as, and this does qualify as a purchase for a property on these kinds of terms. So I'm saying, all right, if I want to go long term and I want cash flow typically means I'm going to keep it, right? So I'm looking for the right kind of deal where I can go for long term. So one of the main things that I want to know is that I can keep this property, let's say between 3 to 5 years. How do I know I'm going to keep it for 3 to 5 years? When I tell them up front, hey, I could buy the property. I can give you some money now, some money later. I don't tell them some money now, some money later. I tell them I can give you, a little bit now, and then we'll take care of the rest from there. And I'm going to continue to make those payments for 5 years. And then after the 5 years, I'll pay you the balance of what we owe you. Does that sound like something you're willing to do today to get rid of the property? They say yes, great. So in here, how I'm building up that cash flow, is saying, I'm going to go for the 5-year option, and I want someone that is going to, they may not have the biggest amount of down payment, but they could steadily and easily afford a high monthly. How do we figure that out? So what we do is I will drive traffic, and I look at this and I say, let's say this property will rent for $1,900. This property rents for $1,900, and I'm going to say, who might be able to give me $2,500? It's a lot more, right? It's a lot more, but I'm willing to be flexible on this property for the down payment if you could pay me more monthly. And so if I only have 2 or 3 people, maybe not, it might be a struggle, but if I could come and get, what's the best scenario? If someone gives me 10% down payment, non-refundable, and they could pay the highest monthly payment, and I typically am not giving any credit for that monthly payment. Some people do give credit, some don't. At the end of the day, I might be willing to give them the credit for monthly. Not the whole thing. I'm definitely not giving the whole thing. Why? Because I tell them straight up, I'm paying them. I got a mortgage on this thing, so I got to pay that. I'm not giving you I'm not keeping all the money. But I may give them a little bit. But let's just say, if my goal is for today to get cash flow, then I'm going to play with this, how much I could rent it for. And under normal circumstances, somebody's not going to overpay on rent for just a rental property, but for a lease option property, they absolutely will pay higher because they want the home ownership, and they probably can't get it. So if I did owner financing, I would have to come and play with the interest rate to make that payment higher. But if I stay in the lease option mode, I get a minimum of 10%. I could get a little bit higher, but I get 10%, and then me or you get to dictate how much that monthly payment is going to be. And I have seen it go as high as $1,000 over, like on this kind of a number. Like let's say it would go $1,600 is what the payment is. It would run for 19. I have been able to get it up to like 2,600. So like this is 25. So if we just stopped at 2,500, if it rents for 19, so let's do this. Let's say they say yes to $2,500. Our payment is $1,600. That is $900 a month in cash flow on one unit. Now, remember, if it's a rental, they're not going to do that. It doesn't make sense. If it's owner finance, you got to play with the interest rates. The best place and the best strategy on how to come and increase that cash flow right there is by doing a lease option. Because then they understand it's just a monthly payment that we're saying, and then from this, let's say this is the deal that we can structure. I am in no rush looking to cash them out. Because for every year that I'm able to get this $900, so let's say $900 times 12. I'm going to push it over. 1 second. 900. Alexa, how much is 900 times 12 months?
The product of 12 months and 900 are 10,800 months.
$10,800 a month, a year in cash flow from that same property, and you still get to keep the equity. Oh, I'm going to come talk about that. We're just dividing and conquering one piece at a time. Right now, we're just talking about the cash flow, right? If we do this times 5 years, Alexa, how much is 900 times 60?
900 multiplied by 60 equals 54,000.
If you kept this one property, right here for the whole 5 years, and then they got their own mortgage at that point, selling it to them at the $250, you would have made the $54,000 a month in cash flow for the last 6 months. By the way, it's a lease option. If something breaks, they fix it. We don't fix it. You are in homeowner mode. We are just holding that financing for you. So this is not a tenant, any of that. Oh, plus they gave you 10% down payment. So they gave you $25,000 on the upfront. So you got $54,000 in cash flow, plus you still have your $30,000 of equity. So this deal that was at first not a good looking deal, you were able to make $54 plus $30,000 in equity is $84,000, and $54,000 of it coming in cash flow. More importantly, $900 a month coming in cash flow. That's what that bad boy. That's how you make the cash flow. Crazy, right? So let's talk about some of the other little nuances inside here. So what was the difference? What was the main thing? When we were selling this property, we made sure we drove a lot of traffic, and we were selling the property, a lease option, no bank needed is the headline. Or I would put something maybe even more sexy. I would say owner financing, no bank needed. And when you send that out, man, people come to this property. I do an open house over the weekend, and I'm going to sell it to the person with the highest down payment and can pay the highest monthly payment. That is my objective. That's how I sell it. Highest down payment and highest monthly payment gets this house. You can move in exacto mundo. And man, the phone goes crazy. We have had up to 160 people, families, come into one house on a Friday and on a Saturday afternoon and a Sunday. And then we have a board and say, tell us what you would be willing to do. And I tell them, sometimes they're like, well, we're looking at a minimum of about 10% down. And, the monthly payment we would like is about $2,500 a month. And from there, you have 5 years to actually go buy it. We'll help you with that. And you have home ownership. It's like, oh my God, really? So I'm going to pay a little bit more for the rental. I have 10% down payment, and this could be mine. Yes, this could be yours. They are out of their mind excited. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing it. We are. So that's how we build a cash flow. So the headline will also, let me back up, because the headline would also say that it's a handyman special. So handyman's owner finance, and I may or may not put the handyman special. Why? Because remember in here said that it needed $20,000 in repairs. That $20,000 means that the house looks a little old, right? It wasn't like the roof is leaking or there's no heat in the house. Maybe it needs a little carpet, a little paint, a little this and that. Sometimes will I do that on the upfront if I needed to? If I have the money and it makes it for an easier sell, maybe I might do that. I am not doing a major renovation on it necessarily. And I wouldn't recommend if you're starting off brand new to do it. Because you could do the same exact thing and just say it's a handyman special. Remember, a handyman special, carpet and paint and the kitchen's a little older and the bathroom's a little bit dated. Somebody will go in there and fix it little by little. HDTV, man, they got so many people are like, man, paint, carpet, I'll do it little by little. We have a house for our family. These are not picky buyers. This is the person saying, honey, man, the husband and wife or whoever, one single person or whatever, man, I would love to be able to buy a house, man, but my credit is not there. The bank's rejecting me. They say I gotta work on my credit. Or I need more down payment. Or I need this. Or I need that. I can't make it, but I really want a place to live for my family. Boom! Then they see this ad. They are flocking at this. So for the $20,000 in repairs, people could see beyond just a lot of that old, dated cosmetic stuff. They're not the picky ones saying, hey, I got perfect credit. I can pick any house. These are the people saying, I don't have perfect credit, but I do have cash and I can afford the monthly payment and I will put that work in. Woo! Those are my people. Those are my cash flow people. I love them. So that's how we build this cash flow. It's just crazy. And this person is happy. Oh, by the way, so let me back up here. So let's talk about some of the rest of the money here. I'm gonna erase this top here. I need some space. I'm bouncing all over the place, right? So when I'm gonna sell it on a lease option, right? Let's say I sell it on a lease option. They give me 10% down. I am gonna sell it for the $250. Even though it needs a $20,000 work, I'm gonna try to sell it for that $250 on the high side. If I can't, maybe I'll sell it at the $230, give a $20,000 discount. But I am gonna let them know that property is worth $250,000 when all fixed up. Remember, my client is not gonna go to the bank today. They're going to the bank in 5 years. So my $250 is an irrelevant conversation to them. They don't care about the $250. They're not gonna go get the mortgage. So 10% of $250,000, they're saying is $25,000 down. Non-refundable, right? Out of that $25,000 down, I have to give the seller, remember they said they wanted $5,000. So I give the seller that $5,000. And now I get $20,000 in my pocket in 30 days. This process right here could be a 30-day in out. As soon as they give me access to the property, I go in there, do what I got to kind of get my marketing running. Owner finance, no bank needed. I drive traffic to the property, do a Saturday, Sunday open house, get as many people there. We're looking for 10% down payment, $2,500 a month in monthly payment. First person that is the best qualified for that, they get the property. You can move in a week or so. What? Once we do all that, They say yes. They want the property. They give me a deposit. Typically, I'm looking for about $5,000 non-refundable. And I tell them, look, we'll put a non-refundable deposit on it so that no one else gets your house. Why? Because there's other people that want this owner finance, this lease option house. So then from there, we get the $20,000 goes to us. I want to put something funny. I want to say us, we. That's take home, us. $20,000 down with $900 a month in cash flow. Now, $20,000. This is why I love these deals. Way better than a wholesale. You've been trying to squeeze the bloody life out of a wholesale deal here. And instead of trying to squeeze the life out of a wholesale deal, this is something where you got people flocking to you and just wanting to throw the money at you. Oh my God, I love this house. I love the area. This is great. You know, my first starter home. You know, I was trying to find houses and I just got rejected and rejected and rejected. And finally I found something. They're not negotiating with you back and forth like they got A credit. None of that crazy stuff. Take it or leave it type nonsense. Hell no. You take it or leave it. Why? Because there's not a lot of lease options or owner finance deals out there. I love this strategy not only for myself, but I love it for them too because it allows me to help more of those people. So, how many think this is pretty awesome when you get $20,000 up front, when you get to put in your pocket $900 a month in cash flow, and you know this whole deal collectively combined is an $83,000, $84,000 profit. So at the end of the day, it's $84,000 in a 5-year term. That's amazing. Just so you know, this is a junk trash deal that nobody would have touched. But because we know the strategy and we know how to capitalize off of it, this is why I love this type of this trading called creative investing and wholesaling. This is the epitome of creative investing and wholesaling. And I promise you, the biggest stuck point for most people is like, will somebody let me take over their payments with only $5,000? They're only getting 20. They're only getting 20. It's not like they of course they are. Will everybody let you do it? No. 30, 40% of the people will let you do it. That's all. And that's it. We only need that to come and live right and have an amazing quality lifestyle. And the more you get better in your marketing and getting more people in the marketing and understanding how to solve their problems, and you know, the better you'll convert on this. So this is what's up. If you got any questions, you can hit me up with a question. I'll answer that question. I love this. $84,000 in profits. I'm going to take a picture of this so we can put this into the portal. All right. Let's see there. Rink. And it's the same strategy. So let's go back. How did I make the cash flow on it? How I made the cash flow, just in recapping, I made the cash flow was to say how much would it rent for, and then how much will the market be willing to bear on the lease option strategy? Because what they want the most is they want the ownership, which no one's giving them that. They're not giving them the opportunity for lease option. They're not giving them the opportunity for that. We are. So they're willing to stretch hard. Now, I'm going to make sure that they can afford this monthly payment and afford it well. I don't want them to be struggling and suffering for it. Then that means that they're not the most qualified. And when I say that, that monthly payment should not exceed 40% of their income, their monthly income. If it goes past that, it's 50%, they're going to fail. 40% of their income. So they bring in, $10,000 a month, for example. Maybe it's two people, they bring in $10,000 a month, or one person brings in $10,000 a month. The most they can afford is $4,000. $4,000. Outside of that, they'll start struggling because they got expenses on other things, car payments, food, just electric, just all the other stuff. So that is what's up there. So we said we were going to come and talk a little bit about mindsets here. So we'll take these last few minutes here and we'll talk a little bit about mindset. Like, what's the deal with the mindset here? The mindset is so powerful because I'm hyped here and I'm excited, and I know that I have done it. I've done this deal over 100 times the same exact deal. So I'm excited and I'm passionate about it, and I know that it works, and it works like a charm. But you might be sitting there saying, "Oh, is it going to work for me?" Well, if you fuck it up and you just don't do it, and you don't do what it said, well, then no, it's not going to work. But if you just follow the steps and believe in it, it will work. Not to everyone that you're going to make the offer. Some people are going to think you're a maniac, and that's cool. They're not my people. Do you know that there are people that still believe the earth is flat? And I'm talking legitimately. I know a lady that legitimately believes, that the earth is flat. Why do I tell you that? It's because if somebody has a certain belief in a certain way and they don't want to come and do it, that's great. That's fine. I'm not trying to convince this lady the earth is round. She's old enough. She's older than me. I'm not here to come and convince her that the earth is round. So what I mean by that is when you go out there and you talk to enough people, and if you talk to 5 people and you fail, well, yeah, you should fail. Because anyone teaching real estate in any aspect is going to tell you it's marketing. You got to drive a funnel of people in. And some are going to say yes, some are going to say no. So what? Who's next? We're looking for the ones that say yes. Would you be willing to get 100 no's for $900 a month in cash flow, $20,000 in your bank account, and be able to come in the next 5 years just from this little deal? Just if you only got one, if you only got this one deal, would you be willing to talk to 100 people, 20 of them saying you are out of your rabbit mind, the other 40 of them saying, hey, this is pretty interesting, and then maybe 10 say, hey, why don't you come over? And out of the 10, 5 of them say, yeah, you know what, this sounds like something I'm willing to do. Would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to take the bad with the good? If you're not, get out of the business. If you are, oh my God, you're going to do great. Do your marketing and do the script. Keep the strategies in mind. Cash or creative. Set the appointment quick. Go out to the property. Figure it out. Talk to them. Solve their problem. Solve their problem. Don't make their problem your problem. So you can definitely make this happen. Now, this part right here is all about the mindset, and people come, they want so much tactical, so I just covered all tactical, how we did it, how we asked them, how do we get them to just look at their amount of profit that they're going to make, the $20,000, and be like, yeah, I need that 20 grand, or I need that debt relief. I need somebody to start making that payment because this house is vacant. It's been vacant for 5 months. Time and circumstance changes everything. So I want you to be able to go out there, make offers. Today, it's all about, like, if there's any section of this that you need to brush up, please let us know. Send us a message, and you have resources to go through. Just open up those resources. I need a little bit more of this, a little bit more owner financing, a little bit more structuring the deal, like whatever you might need. Go and study that part if you need to. Make sure you got some marketing going out there, and it's all about setting up those appointments. Get the phone call, come in, set the appointment, make the offer. Marketing, set the pre-screen, set the appointment, go make the offer. That's what you have to do. If you come back and in your business you're not making any appointments, outside of you just starting brand new, and you in less than 10 weeks in this thing, then after 10 weeks it's all about setting the appointments. All the tactical stuff is not hard. It does not take you 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12 months to understand all of that. If it takes you that long, then there's a fear of something probably blocking you. The Mako formula is slam dunk. You got the deal analyzer. You can plug it in there and in 2 minutes figure it all out. I want you to go make offers. And how you make offers, go set appointments, go make the offer. Anyway, my name is Jason Rodriguez. I just showed you how to make crazy cash flow. I'm excited about it. Go do your homework. I'm here. You got any questions? Hit me up. We are out. You are awesome. Make offers, make offers, make offers. Talk to you later. Jason, I'm out.